message and your prophecy. Ya Rabbi Kareem, Ya Allah, forgive us for failing to try and to strive to learn the golden words and the blessed teachings of our Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Ya Allah, Ya Rabbi Kareem, Ya Allah, we ask you, we beg of you, Ya Allah, to drown each and every one of us in the Sunnah, to drown each and every one of us in love for the Sunnah. Ya Allah, to open up our hearts and our eyes to the beauty of the Sunnah. Ya Allah, we ask you to enable each and every one of us to believe and to perceive Rasulullah sallallahu Sunnah, each and every one of his actions and sayings as an uswatun hasana, as a beautiful and noble example for us to emulate. Ya Rabbi Kareem, Ya Allah, we ask you to keep us in this ummah, in this world, and Ya Allah, we ask you to raise us amongst this ummah on the Day of Judgment. Ya Allah, we ask you to save us from all of the pitfalls that this ummah may face. Ya Allah, we ask you to save us from all of the pitfalls that we may face in our deen. Ya Rabbi Kareem, Ya Allah, we ask you to take away from us that love of the dunya that is harmful for our deen, that love of the dunya that distracts us from the akhirah. And Ya Allah, we ask you to replace that with a remembrance of the hereafter, a yearning for the hereafter, a desire to prepare for the hereafter. Ya Rabbi Kareem, Ya Allah, we beg of you to make the akhirah the focus of our goals, the focus of our outlook, the focus of our intentions. Ya Allah, Ya Rabbi Kareem, we ask you to save us from being distracted from the love of property, and we ask you to remind us and make us reflect upon our imminent reality and the imminent reality of death and our eventual residence in the grave. Ya Allah, Ya Rabbi Kareem, we ask you to save us from the azab of the grave. We ask you to save us from the constriction of the grave. Ya Allah, we ask you to put light where there is darkness. We ask you to put space where there is constriction. Ya Allah, we ask you to make us amongst those people whose grave has been into a garden from amongst the gardens of Jannah. Ya Rabbi Kareem, and we ask you to give us the ability and the strength and the willpower to make use of the asbab, to make use of the means that would make our du'as come true, to enable us to make the sacrifice, to make the struggle, to put in the effort to reform and change our lives, so that our resting place in the grave is one that is one of peace as opposed to one of torment. Ya Rabbi Kareem, we ask you, Ya Allah, to save us from that love of wealth that becomes a distraction from judgment and accountability. Ya Allah, we ask you to take away any unlawful greed or lust that we may have in our hearts. Ya Allah, we ask you to replace us with a generosity for others in our heart. Ya Allah, we ask you to replace it with a contentment with whatever you have given to us in our heart. Ya Rabbi Kareem, Ya Allah, we ask you that you do not let our children or our family or any associations that we have be in any way a distraction of our obedience and our love for you. And Ya Rabbi Kareem, Ya Allah, we ask you to save us from our own selves. We ask you to save us from our own nufus. We ask you to save us from our own pettiness, our own fancies, our own whims, our own desires, our own hawa. Ya Allah, we ask you to save us from falling into so much neglect of you that we are included, that our names are written amongst the ranks of the forgetful ones, that our names are written amongst the ranks of those who have forgotten you. Ya Rabbi Kareem, that our names are written amongst the ranks of those whom the Prophet declared that they have nothing to do with me and he has nothing to do with us. Ya Rabbi Kareem, we ask you to save us from having our names written in those ranks. Ya Allah, truly, perhaps in all likelihood, all of our names have already been written in those ranks. Ya Allah, we ask you to erase our names from those registers. Ya Allah, we ask you to decree for us and to ordain for us a successful life in terms of our deen. Ya Allah, we beg of you to return us to the origins of our ubudiyyat. Ya Allah, we ask you to enable us to become people who are people of detachment from this world, people who are able to disconnect ourselves from this world. Ya Allah, people who are able to join ourselves completely and exclusively to your remembrance, to your dhikr, and to your ibadah, and to your worship. Ya Rabbi Kareem, Ya Allah, we ask you to grant us all those things that are good in this world, all those things in this world that will lead us to you, that will increase us in our love for you and our gratitude towards you, that will increase us in our remembrance of you and our worship to you. And Ya Allah, we ask you to keep us away from and to keep away from us all of those things in this world, be they material objects, be they personal relations. Ya Allah, all of those things that distract us from you, that will lead us away from you, or that will lead us towards your displeasure. Ya Rabbi Kareem, Ya Allah, we ask you to increase us in our hearts, in our love for you, in our fear for you, in our adab for you, in our awareness of your azmat and your majesty, and an awareness and our remembrance of your mercy and your rahmah and your mercy. Ya Rabbi Kareem, Ya Allah, we ask you to shower your special mercy upon us. Ya Allah, we are amongst the weak and sinning servants of this ummah. Ya Allah, we have come in a time, in an age in which each and everything around us in our society, Ya Allah, is a challenge to our deen, is a challenge to your word, is a challenge to your beloved Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And to counter that challenge, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we have the weakest of imans in the history of this ummah. So Ya Rabbi Kareem, we need your special rahmah, your special mercy. Ya Allah, we ask you to increase us in fortitude, increase us in our sabr, increase us in our ilm, increase us in our amal, increase us in our ikhlas, increase us in our taqwa, and Ya Allah, enable us to follow the entire Qur'an, Sunnah and Sharia. Ya Allah, open up the realities, the haqa'iq and the ma'arif, open up the realities and subtleties of the Qur'an and Sunnah for us, and Ya Allah, save us from falling into all delusions, illusions, traps and deceptions. Ya Rabbi Kareem, Ya Allah, those of us who may have any difficulty, those of us who are sick, we ask you to grant us health. Those of us who may be needy, we ask you to grant us the most purest and noblest forms of wealth. And Ya Allah, those of us who have little or no worries, who have no other worry than their own laziness or their own neglect of the deen, Ya Allah, we ask you to enable us to overcome our laziness. Ya Allah, we ask you to give us the strength of power, the willpower, the strength, the determination, the ability to become people of struggle, effort, hardship and sacrifice. And Ya Allah, and through that mihna, through that mujahidah, that you draw us closer to the path of your pleasure, draw us further along in the Sirat al-Mustaqim, that you keep us on the Sirat al-Mustaqim, keep us forever from even going slightly astray, or keep us forever from doing anything that would even slightly incur your wrath and your anger. ربنا تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم وتوب علينا إنك أنت التواب الرحيم وصلى الله تعالى على حبيبه سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين.